Welcome to Sportsball.
Hey, it's a sports show on the internet.
Welcome to Sportsball. We are so happy to be here. As you can check out our really cool logo, our amazing sets.
Get it of a logo that's a little more phallic next time.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's quite enough.
No, I
next
feel,
time.
I don't
We need
know.
to throw some
What do you-
hockey
what do you
sticks
guys
in there,
think?
and
I think it looks pretty good.
I'm pretty sure. So funny story.
Funny story.
We're very proud of the set that Marcus and the guys put together. It's
Amazing
really
work.
good.
Incredible.
And they were
Working all day, all
literally
weekend.
finishing it up until the very last second, and you could almost say that the desk pretty much is completely wet paint lacquer right now.
Yeah, we're high as a kite. We're on our way to being that way.
I
but,
mean, toxic
we have
air
it's
is
the-
just
it's
rising
It's
up.
the
just the
sports
fumes,
fumes.
the lacquer.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
But when you say literally, we were literally putting this together in like the last few minutes. Like everything you see here. But thank you so much
Yeah.
for everyone for doing it.
We had to assemble Joel last
dizzy.
minute. It was like, Joel, put your pants on.
Yeah, Joel wouldn't even
dizzy.
sit
He's
here
like-
at the desk while we were waiting, while we're pre-stream. He was like sitting over there because he couldn't deal with the fumes. We're gonna try and get through it, but guys, I'm
up?
so excited to be here. I'm your host, Tyler Coe, joined by.
I'm Jack Patillo.
I'm Joel Heyman. And I think it's important to say that as we start this, that this podcast, everything we talk about is 100% factual
Absolutely.
and accurate.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Like everything that we say is absolutely how it is, and we are absolutely the foremost experts on all of it.
Buck
All
stops
of it.
here with
We
all
are-
of it. All of it.
Yeah.
Every single bit.
Absolutely. We're gonna have like a little board where everything we say, it's like, see how accurate
Yeah.
everything is.
There's
It's
going
just-
to be like that work thing, like no accidents in the workplace. Nothing's
Excellent.
going to be
Never.
on this side.
Never.
We're going to get everything right.
Everything we say is absolutely 100% incorrect. Everything's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
guys, let's get into it. Sportsball is going to be a show that's kind of a mixture of everything. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about balls.
Paint fumes.
Paint fumes, everything else in between. But, this is my favorite time of the year. I'm so happy that we're doing the show today.
It's a good time of
It is
year.
a good time of
This
the
is
year.
my favorite time of the year because everything good in my life happens in the fall. Football is almost here. We're literally just days away from
Yeah.
college football. Pro football is coming up in a few weeks. Baseball, postseason, because the
yeah.
rest of it is boring as shit. But when you get down to the postseason of the World
No
Series,
bias.
that's when I want to watch.
No bias on this
and then,
show.
And then you get tired, maybe
love
bogged down
everything.
from football, basketball, or excuse me, baseball. Basketball comes in December. So this is
No, I
my
agree.
favorite time of the year.
It's
It's
the
the
perfect
best.
time of year. It's the time of year where you get like training camp and like the Yankees start melting down and giving up the lead to the Toronto Blue Jays. It's just perfectly
We're
that
like
time
week
of year.
13 of preseason football right now. It just seems like it just keeps going longer and
We
longer.
I think we have like 2 more weeks of preseason.
Yeah, I think
and
I
we're
think
into the
if,
thick
I
of
think
things.
after next week in preseason football, there will be no star players left. They'll all be injured by the end
Oh
of next
my
week. So.
God! How
Oh
many
my
more
God.
can get? I mean, Kelvin Benjamin, who is going to be one of my fantasy wide receivers. I was hoping
Yeah.
he would be, and Jordy Nelson.
Nelson,
Jordy
out for the
Nelson, who
season.
is like, I mean, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson, and Jordy's gone now.
It's funny. I've never really done fantasy football.
Oh, well,
before.
you will
like
this
I'm
year.
newbie, and you.
Yeah.
you
We're going
li-
to make you.
Yeah, and
I
it's funny, and
love
it's funny
fantasy
too
football.
because I don't know how it works. Where it's like if you've already started your fantasy draft, if you've already committed to the player, and it's like, oh, he's injured, he's gone
yeah.
for the
No,
year.
That's it. You're screwed.
He's on your team. Then
Yeah,
you have to deal with it.
We're doing a fantasy league, and I'm going to be running it here, and so I need to set everyone up, and we're going to have a whole thing. Well, I'll keep updates on the Rooster Teeth site.
Who's going to be in our fantasy league?
I think it'll be the 3 of us. I think we
Okay,
got Cole.
that makes sense.
I think Brandon. I think Jeff said he'd be a part of it. I think Gus would probably jump in.
Of course, there's something
maybe
at Rooster
Blaine.
Teeth where it's like, hey, who wants to participate in this? And everyone's like, yes. And then it happens like, nah, I'm busy.
I'm sorry, I
it's gonna be-
can't be bothered to take 30 minutes a week to update my roster.
So on the show, we're going to have some fun. We're going to ask you guys, because that's the biggest thing about the show is we want it to be inclusive. We want everybody to be a part of it. So we're going to have a tweet topic. That's
that
how
sounds
we're
good.
going to kind
We
of
have a
start
tweet
that off.
topic.
So it's our favorite time of the year, right?
It is,
So
absolutely.
what I want to know, though, more specifically is what are you guys really excited about? Like, who's your team? Whose storyline are you really excited about? Are you happy to see a player back, a coach back? What are you guys really excited about? Like, are you excited about the Patriots? Like, what are they going to do? Their first game back, Tom's first game back, going to be against the Cowboys. I mean, you talk about Notre Dame, Texas, which is a game I'm going to next week. That's a big
gonna be
game.
fantastic.
I'm excited about. Like, is Roger Goodell going to turn into the Antichrist? Like, midway through the season? I have
Turn
no
into,
idea.
I think he's already there.
So-
I think the fan base might already have that perception. Yes.
They hate him, but how often do we talk about the NFL? The guy's a genius. It's any publicity is good for him right now, even if it's really negative.
I guess. I don't really know. I have a theory where it's like sort of the internet is really changing things a lot, and social media are changing things a lot. And it's just sort of like the thing with Ray Rice that happened earlier, where you get a videotape of like a dude punching a girl on videotape, and the entire world sees that. It's things are becoming like more open, where it's sort of like, I think that if that happened in the 80s or the 70s or whatever, I think it would have been papered over, and no one would have even paid attention.
Right,
to it.
and I mean,
things like that now.
he got 2 games for that initially, before we all saw the video. And
Right.
just to put that into perspective,
Keep in mind,
Ray Rice got 2 games for punching his wife. Tom Brady got 4 games for deflating a football.
That's half as bad as deflating a football and not having any proof that you had anything to do with deflating that football.
Well,
So,
it's just different to me, and I don't even make judgments so much of like whether it's right or wrong or whatever. But you have to realize now that like the entire world is watching and sensitive to all these
that
things,
right there.
And they have a
why
vote.
Goodell is okay, because the whole world, you're right, is watching.
I guess so. There's a balance there. I don't know. I don't know how far you can
well,
push
he's
that.
definitely taken it to like this next level, and they've done some really incredible things and kind of modernized the NFL. I mean, it's funny. Remember the XFL? Did you ever watch any of that?
Sure, yeah.
How long did that was like for a hot second? It was like in Las
was like, I think
Vegas.
it's
And they
Season and a half.
had those kickoffs where the kickoff was they put the ball on the 50-yard line,
Yeah.
and you took your fastest player in each end zone, and they would run as fast as they can.
I thought
to
they were
the
side
ball.
by side. I remember.
Oh, were they side by
I think
side?
it was side by side running for the ball in the first game. Like one of the games in Florida, because there was only like 8 teams or something.
Yeah, there
right?
wasn't a lot.
There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot.
Yeah, in one of the first games,
He
there was
hated me.
literally a guy who like I think he tore his ACL running for the ball, like in the runoff or whatever it was. And it's like, that's
That's
a
why
bad
we don't
sign.
do this. Yeah.
Bad.
I thought it was great. I loved it. I was like,
Well,
this is.
They were doing stuff like the fly cam, like the one they have behind the quarterback.
No, that was something that was
in the
because
XFL.
of them. Yeah,
yeah.
that really took off. I love that. That's like one of my favorite
Yeah.
things.
And the biggest thing to come out was the "He Hate Me."
Yeah, he hates
Have
it.
you ever
That's-
wondered where that came
that
from?
and
Because
sky
they put
cams.
whatever they wanted on the back
Yeah,
of their own
yeah.
jerseys, and like a guy put "He Hate Me" on the back of his jersey.
Yeah, and they asked him who hates you, and he goes, them over there, and he's kind of pointing to the
That guy
stands.
right there.
It's like he
I
hate
don't know
me
who it was.
over there. But yeah. But anyway, I would love to see some kind of minor league football. I mean, technically, college football is minor league
kind of a
professional
minor league, yeah,
football,
for
right?
sure.
But I mean, it would be nice to kind of like those guys who don't make it to the pros or have like a proper farm team.
There is that. It's called the Canadian Football
Yeah,
League,
or the
where they go up
European
to
Football League, where they'll
Canada
go,
and they
so.
play up in the.
Yeah,
See,
but
But they got the weird
it's a
field
joke.
with the field goal. It's like in the end zone. I don't understand. I think the fields are a little bit wider.
Yeah, they're
too.
wider, yeah.
So I'm not sure how that plays.
And
But
also,
maybe you're excited for that. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're excited. I'm not
CFL.
necessarily excited for that.
I don't-
all the time.
I'm
no
excited for
no
Sky
one-
Cam.
No one is excited for Canadian football.
Maybe Barbara.
No,
she might
no.
be.
Even the Canadians are just
just like
ashamed
that.
of it.
Ricky Williams played in Canadian Football League for a while, right?
did.
Not
He
Doug
did.
Did he?
Flutie. Who was the
No, I
quarterback who
think
went up there?
Flutie did. No, Flutie, I think he played both Canada and Europe. This is why we need somebody to check these things.
Yeah.
We should get a person to like have back there
100% factual.
to like check.
accuracy.
100% factual.
Yeah. But no, Ricky Williams, he did. He played up in Canada
Yeah.
and was able to make it back
Who
to
was
the league.
who was the quarterback that I think he ended up playing for Arizona and won a Super Bowl after playing for
Oh my
Canada?
gosh.
And it
Went to the
wasn't
Cardinals.
Yeah,
What is your name? He was with the Rams, and then he went to.
Yeah, then he went to Canada.
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner.
See, this is
There
the
you go.
equivalent of like that guy was hooked on heroin and came back and won the Super Bowl. That's like the equivalent of like he played in the Canadian Football League and he pulled
got his
himself
way
up and
back,
got out
yeah.
there. And
Look at him
That is
now.
a tough thing to do, too.
it is a tough thing to
Yeah.
do, but
Yeah,
everyone
everyone's
loves
so
that.
polite up there. What do you do? I mean,
So here's another thing why today is awesome. Not only because it's about to be fall and football's almost back. It happens to be the day, guys, and this
The
is kind of
day.
a video game place. I think you guys do stuff with video
we
games.
play some
here.
video games here.
A little bit.
Rooster
No.
Teeth.
Some?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
No.
Madden 16 is out today for purchase. So
Hey.
we picked a perfect day to come on and talk about sports
Absolutely.
and video games.
And we
Look at
planned that.
that. We planned that. We totally did.
We were waiting. We had the show ready to go about 8 months ago, and I was like, you know what? We'll wait
We
for
gotta wait
Madden.
for Madden.
We got to wait
Wait-
for this specific day.
And when
yeah.
Madden comes out, then
No,
that
no,
morning
no,
we'll
the
paint
24,
everything.
26. No, we got to do it this day.
How you know you're getting older is like when you're younger, you get Madden and you're like, I'm going to play as the football player.
Yeah.
And then like the older you get, like, I'm going to try the general manager part now where I just sim the game. And now it's like, well, now I'm just going to be the owner. I'm just going to sim all the games
Yeah.
and just like set
Well,
the
they
prices.
actually had a game a few years back that it was something like that. It was like you were just the coach.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
get to play the game or anything. You literally just called plays and
Yeah.
No, I
see
did that in
what your
like
team did.
NCAA football where it got to the point where it's just like, all I care about is recruiting.
Now, see,
Yeah.
that was a big one I was into. I played NCAA football from like, I bought every single, I had a GameCube, which, whatever.
Oh, God.
I know. But I had that
Canadian
for a
football.
while.
Shame.
And then I played NCAA until they quit making it back in 12. So, like, I'm excited for Madden to come out. And one of the reasons is I love their campaigns. Their campaigns are
Yeah.
awesome.
The one last year was amazing.
Well, if you think last year's was amazing, check out this.
Yeah.
This is the new I guess they're calling it the Madden 16, the movie trailer.
Yeah, so it's like Dave Franco, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and then tons of football players like Gronk's in there, and
Gronk's
Colin
in there.
Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick is,
He's
we
playing-
might get to it in the trailer, but he is playing Al Pacino in A Scent of a Woman.
Yeah, it says the hoo-ah.
Hoo-ah!
See, I'm going. There's a hand signal that's happening. Steal second. Steal second. Steal the.
Push my mic up.
Push my mic.
There we go.
My mic up. His mic? Towards
you.
you. Towards
Right,
you.
just
Is that
second.
better? I'm learning, folks. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
I'm
take-
the new guy. It's my first
all of
day.
his paint fumes.
Listen, in every podcast I've ever participated here, I've never gotten that signal before.
Yeah, I did. I didn't know.
I think he told you to steal
He
second.
was
It was
sliding. He was like this. He was sliding, and I was like, my first thought is like, I have the iPad here, so I was like, sliding.
What is it?
Okay,
It's like
yeah,
paper football.
sliding.
See, I'm going to go in the other direction.
other direction.
I don't love the Madden football trailer. And
Why
I
not?
have this crazy, wacky idea where I kind of want to see the video game.
Nah.
And I would like.
if you've seen Madden the last 5 years,
but
you
I-
know what Madden is. Like,
but
what
I would
was the
like.
point of?
I want. That's me.
And there's clips of
I
it
know-
in there.
I know
There's
on the- I
definitely
know on the
football
outsider.
clips.
I
Come
know
on,
I'm the
man.
crazy
I would
outsider.
rather see like it's football. Okay, we understand it's football. You're gonna be controlling
I
the
don't know what to
quarterback,
tell you.
running back,
I-
playing defense, trying to sack the
I
guy.
wanna see the game.
I want to see something stupid.
Like they had a thing that they brought in like 2 years. Like traditionally, all video game football games
Yeah.
going back is that you have one player hits another player and it goes into a pre-designated animation of a tackle. And it's
Basically,
like,
yeah.
I have 20 animations of tackles. I pick one and whatever.
yeah.
And then I think it was last year, the year before, where they got rid of that, and it was like we're going to use actual like ragdoll physics, where when one object hits the other object, just anything can happen. And it's like I thought that was cool. Like maybe I've been in video games too long, where it's just sort of like, well, that ragdoll physics and tackling, that's awesome.
I'll be damned.
You go outside and yell at clouds a lot, Joel. Is that kind of your thing?
I'm telling you, and it's just sort of like that's what I want to see. I want to see them smashing players into one another over and over again,
Yeah.
and 30 seconds of that. That's what I want to see.
I mean, the problem is with Madden. It's at what point do they not just release Madden and then every year you pay
you
$20
can
bucks
just like
for a
update it.
roster
It's
update?
like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like the game, to me personally, I don't know if the game is changing enough to justify buying it every single year.
No, that's why you have to use like outrageous campaigns
Yeah.
and movie trailers to like sell this thing, so people be like, oh yeah, I want to go get that again, even though it is literally the same game.
Yeah,
over and
it's
over
the
again.
same
Like
game.
tweaks here
They
and
should
there.
also, it
That's
would also
pretty
be good
much
if they had like a sense of humor where they could sort of release a patch update where you could like sim to be a fan. You like have to
Have
get
the
into the
fan
stadium
experience, yeah.
and like go to the bathroom and like.
Because hey, maybe you can't afford the game and
Can't get in
you
there.
just want to see what it's like. I don't know. Have you guys ever been to an NFL game?
Oh yeah,
I've never been.
I went to actually a pretty intense NFL game. I went to the Eagles versus the Titans the first year that Vince Young was quarterback for the
Man, I would've
Titans.
killed
Wait, was it
for
Philly?
that.
It was in Philly. I was in Philly, and I had some friends. They're like, "Hey, come up, and we'll take you to a game." And so, first of all, you're not allowed to tell anyone in Philadelphia you're from Texas because they hate people from Texas.
Well,
Like,
Philly fans in general, and I know I'm probably about to offend all of Philadelphia. You're the worst. I'm sorry.
Michael-
You're just
They are.
the
Michael
worst fans. Not
Irvin's-
just Eagles, but Phillies, the rest. You're the
rough.
worst. I'm
I
sorry.
want to say worse. They're the roughest.
They're up there. All right, well, let's
They're
ask the
intense.
people. Can we do a tweet topic?
there we go. Yeah,
Let's have to
they're-
ask the
When-
people,
when-
what do you guys think? Worst fans, what city?
I mean, you got to throw Boulder in there, but anyway, we'll
when
get
Michael
back
Irvin's
to it.
career ended on the AstroTurf, he got like that huge hit, and then they carried him off, and everyone applauded. And Philly, they're like, yeah.
Philly has a fan that actually it was a Phillies game, and this guy was walking drunk around the concourse, about a kid my age, and threw up on a 14-year-old girl. Made himself throw up because she was rooting for the opposing team. Sorry, that's a guy from your city.
Back in the
Yeah.
80s, there was stories of like people throwing like pig fetuses in jars at players.
Jesus
and
I've
stuff,
heard,
like,
Christ.
I've heard
brutal.
batteries.
Where do you
people
buy
throw
a pig
batteries?
fetus?
That was everything went in the 80s, man. That was
Yeah.
the decade where you could get away. And then I remember like in the 90s there was a huge snowball incident where like fans were throwing snowballs
like batteries
at
in
the
them, right?
players. Maybe.
It was something like
But
yeah,
I was
they-
thinking, well, this is like better than jars. I mean, it's like we're really
It's a little soft before the
it's
glass
really-
shatters.
Like it's just, it's
across
not going
your
to cut
face.
your face. Like they're always caught on Fox. Like Philly fans will be wearing some inappropriate T-shirt, like saying "F you" or something like this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
speaking of T-shirts, by the way, you can buy this T-shirt that I'm wearing right
Did you
now.
catch that, audience?
Yeah, that's
That
called-
was
Segue.
smooth. That was nice.
That was my first one.
That was good.
Really
That was a good one.
impressive.
Let's
You didn't
point
get
it
any
out.
hand signals?
No hand signal.
No, no.
None of this stuff. None of this. None
Loss of
that.
down. Let's.
So this shirt is peak, and you can buy the shirt right now.
Now, is it touching or is it not touching?
I think it's touching because it's an A, right? The Cult of Peak.
The Cult of Peak.
What penalty is this in the NFL?
I don't know. Triangle defense.
Safety. That is safety.
Safety. No,
facts.
safety is
We know the
flat.
facts. We got them all. So you can buy this T-shirt. It's awesome. It's really comfy. I like it a lot. I'm probably going to keep it. I hope I get to keep it. I don't know. I'll have to ask my boss. But you can go to roosterteeth.com/store. Correct?
That is correct.
And buy this T-shirt. Go do it.
There you go. Check it out.
There was an incident
new,
that
fresh.
occurred. There's a story behind the T-shirt, but you have to be cool to know the story.
Yeah, it's an RTX story.
It's an inside.
So
Every
RTX.
T-shirt's an inside thing.
Yeah, I don't know the story. I
don't
heard
know
it was
the
a cool one though.
I don't know.
I gave you an opportunity to pretend like you knew the story, and you just called yourself out.
He was still buzzing from his
He could've just been
segue.
like,
What I meant was that the story is
It's an
really cool,
amazing
and
story.
I happen to know the story. And
It's an
but we're
amazing
gonna have to
story.
save it for another podcast.
Yeah, we're
'cause the
running
story
low
is
on
too
time
long, yeah.
today.
You know what my favorite thing?
What is your
about the
favorite thing
fall
about the fall?
Is college football coaches coming out and getting really drunk at pep rallies and then screaming profanities
Yeah.
at the other
Yes,
team. This is the funniest story ever.
I think
if they
we
didn't know.
might actually have footage of this.
Oh, you got to show this.
Oh, nice.
This is Steve
Sarkisian.
Sarkisian, who's the head coach of USC at a pep rally.
Now, little context here. The song for the Trojans is they do a V for victory, and it's "Fight On" is their school song or whatever. So he's at this rally, and he's talking to all the fans, all the parents, coaches, faculty,
Are we going to show
everyone.
the tape? Are we going to show the tape
Show
of
the
it?
tape.
Show the tape.
This is frightening.
I think we're going to show the tape.
I don't know.
If
We're not
not
gonna
gonna
show
show the
tape.
tape. The funniest thing about it is that he's just sloppy drunk. And
Yeah.
I'm somebody who's done like things sloppy drunk all the time. But
Really?
But the best thing is about this is the apology.
Oh,
when he
yeah.
came out afterwards,
No.
and it just made it worse.
Because he
Yeah.
only seemed drunk, right? He seemed drunk at this thing. He basically he's up on stage, he's like, "Fucking fight on!" And like the crowd was like, "What is?"
you can
this
hear, yeah, you can hear
guy
people in the
doing?
audience be like, "What?" in
So
the
he comes out with the apology, and instead of saying my drunken behavior was boorish, it was terrible, it will never happen again, he's like, I was drunk and on meds, pain meds.
That's what I was going to say. Like, as you're listening to the apology,
don't say that.
it made it worse and
That's
worse
awesome.
and worse.
Stop
He sounded
talking.
totally hungover.
Yeah.
He sounded like a college guy who got, like, caught with a bong in his dorm room. He's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I was drunk and on meds.
And meds
Yeah,
and
I
meth
shouldn't
and heroin.
have said
Yeah,
that.
it was
I
crazy
wasn't,
night.
shouldn't have been on meds. And the more and more he talked, the worse it got.
It's just
And
the
then,
rope.
after that, USC came out and said, all right, that's it. We're changing our policy of having alcohol in the locker room.
What?
It's like, what? You have a policy of alcohol in the locker room? Why are you just making
It shouldn't be there in the first place. Most of these kids are underage, all of your players.
How is
They
that?
don't even have alcohol in the stadium
How is there
at
a
UT?
policy with
No.
alcohol in the locker room? How is that?
Sounds like the best policy
We
ever,
went to the
man.
wrong school. We should
No
have been
kidding.
going to USC.
Well, they're talking about bringing alcohol into the UT stadium now, right?
They
They
are,
approved it.
yes.
Oh, they
approved
did approve
yeah.
it. All
They
right.
did.
Pretty cheap prices too, I said.
Well,
really?
it's funny because there's a lot of programs in college football where you don't have alcohol served at the stadium for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is what happens at every single one of those stadiums, including Texas, is that during halftime you can then watch 50,000 people try and go out across the street and go to the alumni center and be a
Yep.
member of like that's the alumni center whole.
They're also removing re-entries now too. So
Yes,
yeah, if you can't leave the
do
stadium
that
anymore.
long tradition. That's done with now.
Now
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, give us your money here. Yeah, okay,
exactly.
gotcha.
So you have
So,
to stay.
so this season, when Texas is down 50 points at the half, that's when you just leave and get hammered in the parking
Which
lot.
unfortunately is probably going to happen.
It's going to be a rough
We'll
season
see.
for the Horns
That's
out
a
there.
that's a bad policy. I don't know if you want to let people
Well,
back in, right?
you want them to stand in line because you're going to stand in line for a really long time if you're
Yeah.
going to buy that beer. I mean, you have 100,000 people in a stadium all wanting to drink. There's going to be lines
Every single
around
one
the
of
stadium, literally.
The
But
families
you
with the
can
children.
drink at pretty much every other sporting event. I mean,
Yeah.
almost every single one. You can even, I think, drink at Little League games. Or I have. I'm not saying I get drunk around kids a lot,
That's awesome.
but sometimes when you're watching kids, like young kids,
you
okay,
gotta be drunk to appreciate
I'm being
the
like
game.
Coach
if they're
Steve.
little
It's
kids.
bad. This is going bad. When you're watching little kids, sometimes you need a drink because the stuff they're doing is like really boring and they suck at it. And like when they're playing baseball, like they're not good. So you like have to drink to do it. I'm not saying I would do. I don't do that.
Hates children.
I don't
Clearly.
hate children.
Playing sports.
And I love children, but in the normal way that you love
bastards.
children, not in a weird way whatsoever. In the normal way.
Or literally watch Tyler burst into flames.
Have you been
Yes.
watching the Little League World Series going on right
him
now?
And
It's
it's funny.
insane.
Him and I talked about this
Oh,
like
okay.
3 weeks ago.
I love
Dude.
kids. Joel
and
hates
I
kids.
said,
You hate them.
I hate Little League Baseball.
I love Little League Baseball.
I hate it. It's
Why?
crap.
It's like hating America.
ESPN comes out every single year and like, it's so wholesome. Wholesome. We're selling you little kids playing baseball. It's so wholesome. And it's bullshit.
No, the best part.
No. They're like, here's the team. Here's the little Johnny from Sioux City, Iowa.
Yeah, he's 13 and he loves sports.
They're 12 years old. They weigh 200 pounds. They're throwing curveballs, and they're all from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Right? Like, they're all like, no. When you get to the upper echelon, and it's like, you have these people. Who the fuck are these people? Engineering global talent from around the
They've
world.
got little Steve Rogers they're building.
The Sioux City Little League thing. That's
a big
bullshit.
deal.
No,
It's a big deal.
The best thing about Little League Baseball is watching these kids who've played, and these are kids that have like won to make it to the Little League
Yeah,
or
it's
to
not
the
like
World
they just
Series,
like
right?
bought their way in.
This is all bullshit.
The best part is when you get these players, like these pitchers, who are like, "Oh, I haven't, had one run score on me all season. Great." They make it to the Little League World Series and play against like South Korea, and they hang 13 on them. And just watching these kids crumble and realize,
terrible.
I'm not the best person on earth anymore.
Listen,
that's pretty amazing.
Well, you know what's
It's
watching dreams getting
we
crushed.
already talked
And
about
we're talking
this,
about
and I said it was all bullshit. And sure enough, what happened?
What happened?
Softball team. A girls' softball team cheating.
What?
Cheating,
All right,
Jack.
so
How did they cheat?
here's
What
what happened.
happened?
Here's basically what happened. Little League World Series goes, usually we just see the boys on TV, but the girls do it too. So there's this team in Iowa who got knocked out of a round of 4. So 4 teams were going to advance.
Okay.
Or 3 teams, were going to advance out of 4. They were the 4th team. They got knocked out. The reason they got knocked out is because another team threw their game intentionally so that they wouldn't have to play.
Not only intentionally,
Wow.
it was like bad.
So check it out.
Oh, really?
This team called Shomanoshi or whatever.
Shomanoshi?
Shomahomish. I don't know what it is. Some weird name. But anyways,
Snomahomish.
this team basically was killing everyone. They hadn't lost all the way in until they played this Iowa team. So they're thinking, I don't want to play that team again. So we're going to throw our game,
They knew
purposely lose, so we don't have to play that tough opponent.
So there's like a lot of moving pieces here, right?
That's happened in like women's basketball before too.
Well,
I think, right?
the thing is that they were interviewing the coach of the team that they were sort of setting up for, and he was like, well, we knew something was wrong initially because their star pitcher like wasn't going to start, and so like that was our first clue. And then it got to the point where it was like they were bunting on the 3rd strike, and it got
they were
it got to be
swinging
over
every
the top,
single pitch. Like,
right?
just to give you an idea, this team came into the game winning their past 2 games by 21 runs.
And the thing
Jesus
is
they
that
were a juggernaut.
it's
Like,
a little league. It's little girls playing softball, and okay, so you're gonna cheat a little bit, fine. But like, it's not fine. But
So
like,
that's
don't go
the
over the
parents.
top with it.
That's
where
the,
it's
that's the
just to
crazy
point.
that's the crazy parents who want to live their life through their
Yeah,
children that are
it
succeeding.
totally is. It's not on the girls. It's
No,
on the
not on-
coaches because
yeah.
the coaches are telling them, no, this is okay. We're going to do this, and
No,
here's the
that's
bullshit
what I'm
reasons why.
saying. Like it's the parents. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
again, there's some fucking people engineering a little league team with 300-pound like guys from across the globe who are like,
They were
don't
200
do
pounds
that.
before. You hear that?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
getting
yeah,
bigger
absolutely.
now.
They're
Getting
getting
bigger and bigger every
We're
year.
not even
trying
done
to-
with the
It's
show.
all
They're
muscle.
getting bigger.
It's all muscle though.
bigger and bigger. It's not wholesome. It's not
But
wholesome.
and also the forced high five at the end of the game when they line up both of the teams, they have
Oh,
to walk
they
next to
don't
each other.
wanna be there.
And you see
They
the
don't
one
wanna do
team
that
that's like
shit.
looking down at their
No,
shoes.
that's a good.
and-
That's a good thing.
I guess
that's
the forced sportsmanship. That's always fun to watch.
Well, I mean, that's good. That's what it
They should
should.
start
That's
do-
what it should.
We
be
should start
about,
doing that in the
right?
NFL.
That's what it should be.
Should it be
No,
about
like,
sportsmanship
the
and
Patriots
that?
and the
Like-
Cowboys.
Fuck yes. Listen, if you watch the NHL, right?
okay.
One of the
Okay.
best things in sports, one of the best things
Is
in
fighting.
sports is at the end of a
I was gonna
seven-game
say fighting,
series
too.
Yeah.
where the teams are sort of where they get together and they do like the high five at the end. It's one of the greatest things in all of
shake
sports.
hands. Go shake
Well, they go
hands.
shake
Yeah,
hands.
go
And
shake
it's
hands.
like,
Yeah.
and it's especially in hockey, man, because these guys are just battling each other,
Yeah.
destroying each other for 7 games, and then they have this sort of thing at the end where it's like sportsmanship. And I'd like to see more of that in other sports.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
think there
a
is, there
classic
is.
thing in sports.
I mean, maybe not in like Little League World Series with girls who just got beat. I don't know. They're kids. They get depressed. I think there's
Yeah.
enough sports.
It's something about the force aspect of it, where
Joel,
it's like clearly.
no,
okay,
when
so
they're
we've
kids, you
gotta start
gotta
up.
force them. You
I have to
gotta
ask
force
you,
them to eat their vegetables.
What do
'cause
you
they
think
don't-
about everyone getting a trophy? What do you think about participation trophies?
Well, that's a whole hotbed of a conversation.
Well,
right
you're
there.
hot right now, and I want to get into it.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
It's funny. I was going to get participation trophies for just like everybody.
Everyone gets ribbons.
But then it turns out that costs money, so I said,
Yeah.
fuck
So
that.
thank
but
you.
no, it's funny. Like I think if you're a kid like below the age, I don't know what the age is. If you're like below 8 or whatever, I have no problem with participation trophies. I think it's a good thing, but it does get to a point where if you're maybe in your teens or junior high, or certainly high school, if you're getting participation trophies, that's probably not.
I think you're on the right number, 8. I think if you're like in 8th place, you don't need a trophy or a ribbon because you suck.
If
because
you're,
you got an 8th place.
if you're a little kid,
you didn't even get in
Just give it
7th
up.
place
Just
or 6th
give it
place
up.
or 5th or 4th. You sucked. You're 8th. You shouldn't get one.
no,
right?
if you're a little kid, it's just about the effort, right?
Yeah.
It's just about when it gets to a point where somebody can, make
Well, I tell
fun
you,
of you
when
for
I'm
having-
trying to win the World Series with my girls' team, I'm not taking some 8th place girl who doesn't know how to hit. I'm taking top dog. That's who I'm taking with me to go cheat and win
Yeah.
the trophy that I want to win.
Well,
there's
I don't know.
There's something about like watching 4-year-olds play like t-ball when they hit the ball and it's like a foot in front of the base, and then they get a home run, like an infield home run off that. It's like, all right, well that's just adorable.
try a
Give them a
little bit.
ribbon.
That's the thing. Like sports serves two different purposes, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're younger, sports teaches you values.
about winning and losing
then when you're
and the
above
value of
20,
both of those.
it's about drugs and killing people, and that's fine, right? There's no problem.
That
If you're
starts in high
if you're
school
an
now.
adult, fucking kill each other for money. If you're a kid, learn values and all that stuff. It's two different metrics, right?
Yeah.
And it should
When
be
do
that
they
way.
cross? When does that cross?
That's the question.
Is that junior varsity, I think?
That's the question, and I don't know the answer.
I think we're lowering the bar every
Yeah.
single time. I mean, these girls who are like, what, 12, 13? I mean, they're cheating. Who knows? There's going to be little toddler races and pools. Like, let's see who's the best swimmer. I got $50 on this one.
But
I
then
think
Once again, PSA, don't go to pools and do that. Don't bet on little children in pools. Don't do that, and stop drinking around little kids.
I'm
It's
just
not
what's
saying.
cool.
wrong
I'm
with you
just
people?
You need
saying.
to go to adult
Jesus.
events. Don't be around
Listen,
little kids.
My point is,
Just don't.
What
that
is your point,
my
Joel?
point is that we should have paint fumes coming off this desk every
I am
week.
It is
So
definitely
it's-
added
it's-
to it.
really
We
adds
should just get
a
some
lot.
paint thinner, just open it in front of our mics every time.
absolutely.
Nobody
we
light
do
a
this.
match in here, seriously.
I like all the different colors that Jack is turning.
know.
You're very
Great. I'm like
green,
greens
it's
and different
really nice.
hues.
It's a
You're
really
like
good touch.
2 Joels, which is terrifying right now. Like I'm seeing 2 of you. That's insane. You know what? Insane. Since we're on the subject of these crazy topics, is we're talking about maybe making a fantasy football team.
Yeah,
and doing
absolutely.
something
We're gonna
like
do that. We're gonna do it. I
I,
promise.
I
you.
had a very weird thing happen to me this past weekend where I had to go to a sex shop stay with me. Sex
right.
shop.
Sportsball.
And and after that I'd get some paint, and now I have this like problem at my house. And I wanted to get your opinion on it, but
Not involving Ashley Madison or anything like
no,
that.
not
Okay.
involving that whatsoever. So we might have to get into that story next time because,
Ooh.
guys, we're out of time.
Oh, man.
For the first episode
went by
of
real
Sportsball.
fast.
I know,
Real
it's super fast. Well, it's only 30 minutes.
Only 30 minutes.
I think that's all they can take. So hopefully that wasn't too much
It's like
sports
the
for you
audience
guys.
lost their
day one.
virginity. and they were
Okay,
just
so
having-
what are we tweeting about? What do we ask the audience to tweet
Yeah,
about?
we asked the audience, what are you most excited for, and what is the worst fan city? Like I threw Philly out there.
Philly,
I'm
Colorado,
And also,
Michigan.
how much do you hate children? I think is the third, right?
Joel
How much do you
hates
hate
children. I love
Sportsball,
children, but in the
hashtag
normal
no
way.
children.
I love them
No
in the normal way,
children.
not the creepy way,
How
not the
much
subway
do you
way.
hate children?
You just hate them. Okay.
Hate them. Like, shouldn't give them bats and things.
I think the children are the future, and that's it. And you leave them alone, you let them be the future. So that's going to be it for Sportsball episode 1. Thank you again for everybody for being a part of this. Thank you for putting this set together, Marcus. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone here. Thank you so
let's,
much.
let's all go huff some paint.
All right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Got to get away from this desk.
We're going to try and get through the podcast. I'm so excited. Here, I'm your host, Tyler Koch.
I'm Jack Patillo.
I'm Joel Heyman. And I think it's important to say that as we start this, that this podcast, everything we talk about is 100% factual